Hey, Melissa Wick here, and today's class is a full yoga practice where we'll be detoxifying and purifying the body using the breath, getting into some twists, and also the hips as well. So the inner lines of the legs, the inner thighs, and the outer hips as well. So let's get into something where we can move in and possibly work up a sweat in. And let's get started. Let's start this practice on our backs today. So we'll lie back down. You can have your legs extended out long if you like in Shavasana, or soles of the feet to touch and knees open to get into the hips. Palms can face the ceiling, or maybe take your hands onto your belly. Maybe a gentle squeeze of the shoulder blades. Shimmy in so you can keep the chest and heart nice and open. And then just take a breath in through your heart space. Inhale it in. Fill your body with life, and then as you exhale here, relax. Take a big breath in through your nose. Let it go through the mouth. And then one more like that. Breathe in. Exhale, release. You can close the lips here and just let your breath be natural. You can start to take a look around on the inside with your inner eye and notice where you've landed today. Noticing how you feel, your emotional tone. Notice what your body is saying to you, and do all of this without any judgment. Just observe and watch. As we start to settle into our space, into our bodies, and into our breath. One breath at a time, taking in each moment. And with every exhale, we release and let go of anything we might be holding on to and anything that is currently not serving us. And I invite you to keep this quality of your breath and quality of this presence into your practice. And let go of any expectations, giving yourself the gift of the present. And then we'll take one more breath in and out through the nose. And then we'll slowly start to bring in movement by drawing the knees in towards the chest, interlacing your hands below the knees, giving yourself a gentle squeeze and maybe a rock from side to side. And then we'll open up the practice with a gentle twist. So arms come out into a T with your palms open. You can drop your knees over to the left to begin. And with your exhale, we allow the right shoulder to get a little more heavy. You can make this twist nice and gentle as we're just opening up and warming up. You can even take your left hand and hold on to your right thigh. Open up into the low back and the spine. And then we'll breathe and move to the other side nice and slowly, knees over to the right. Maybe your head comes over to the left, or just keep it center. Your right hand can hold on to your left thigh. And then we'll come back to center. You can take your hands underneath the backs of the knees, and then if it's comfortable, you can start to gently rock yourself up and down. And then crossing at your ankles, take your hands forward, come through table, shimmy your way back to your mat here, and then we'll come into child's pose. So toes width touching, knees wide apart. Send your sit bones back and take this child's pose. Now you can take your classic balasana child's pose, or you can come onto your elbows here and then bring your hands into prayer and start to melt your forehead and heart down. And then maybe draw your thumbs towards the top of the spine. Just getting a nice stretch into the underarms and triceps. One more breath here. Release the prayer and then walk your hands all the way over to the right. And then reach and lengthen through your left fingers and ground through your left sit bone. And then we'll walk through center, all the way over to the left. Reach through that right fingertip, ground down through the right sit bone. And then breathe into the side right body. And then come back to center. We'll find tabletop position. So knees hip width distance apart. Fingers spread nice and wide. All 10 knuckles grounded. And a slight broadening in the upper back. Just find this shape here, a slight tone in your belly. You're welcome to either curl the toes under or keep the feet pointed. And then rather than traditional cat-cow, we're going to start to roll our spine, our neck, and our sacrum. You can roll it in any way that you like here, in opposite direction, or maybe you want to get your hips into it. So there's no right or wrong here. It's opening up the spine, making the moves as big or as small as you'd like. Getting into the sides. And then if you're going one way, you can reverse your direction. You can always close your eyes, go inwards. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to come into downward dog. So the first one of the practice, tuck your toes under, and then send your hips up and back. So your wrist creases are parallel to the top of the mat. Push through the hands. You can pedal out the legs. You can bend the knees a lot, find the length in the spine, reach your chest towards the tops of your thighs. Glide the shoulders down the back, relax your head. Keep that broadening in the upper back. Find stillness here. Come onto the balls of the feet and then drop your heels over to the right. Keeping this downward dog stance. You can bend the knees here too. Keep pushing through the palms. Just get into that side body. And then inhale, come through center. Heels over to the left. Breathe space into the body. Nice. And then come back to center. And then from here, we'll bend the knees and we'll look between the hands and then take as many steps as you need to come to the top of the mat, feet hip width distance. Take an inhale, halfway lift, fingertips to the shins, slight traction to find length. Reach through the sit bones and the crown of the head. Glide the shoulders down. And then exhale, we'll fold. Grab opposite elbows. You can bend the knees and just release here. You can nod the head yes a bit, maybe no. Maybe you want to sway, make this your own here. Weight even in the feet so we're not leaning back in our heels. And then inhale, halfway lift again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms lift. Feel rooted in the feet as you rise. And then exhale, hands come through to your heart center. Nice. Pause here for one breath. Inhale, arms lift, big reach. And then exhale, fold over the hips, slight bend in the knees. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms down and then step back to a high plank. So push through the palms, broaden in the upper back, tone in the belly. You want to keep the hips level here with the spine so they're not dipping low or way up high. Keep a nice brightness in the backs of the legs, energy reaching through the heels. Nice. And then from here, we're going to shift our weight slightly forward, hug the elbows in, push through the palms, and then lower yourself down. You can always come down to your knees. Point your toes. Inhale to a cobra. Tops of the feet press down, pubic bone down, shoulders glide down. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. So heels of the hands draw back as your heart reaches forward and up. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes underneath. And then inhale, elbows stay in. Push yourself through table or high plank. Exhale your way back to a down dog. We're going to inhale the right leg up to a three-legged dog with your toes facing down. Find the inner line of your leg. So use your glute and your hamstring to keep that right leg lifted and strong. And then exhale, we'll step the right foot through between the hands. Left knee comes down. And then inhale, arms are going to lift up to a low lunge. So right ankle in line with the right knee. Your hips are coming forward and up. So we feel this nice opening in the psoas. Then take your right forearm down to your right thigh and reach the left arm over to the right. Keep the chest nice and open, relax the shoulders. As you're rooting and grounding down, we're lifting out of the hips for the side stretch. Come to center, take your hands down on either side of the right foot, and then shift your weight back to a half split. Maybe you shimmy that right foot forward a bit and try to keep your hips in line with the knee. And then right toes come towards the face. Glide the shoulders down, reach the heart forward, head in line with the spine. Breathe space into that right hamstring. And then we're going to exhale, bend through that right foot, bend the right knee. Maybe you got to plant that right foot closer to you a bit again. Tuck your left toes under, and then you're going to power up the back leg and lift your hips up a little more than normal. We're going to walk the hands over to the left, and we're going to find Skandasana. So your toes are going to face the corners, and then bend into your right knee. Right foot is flat. You can let the left toes flex here if you'd like. Try not to overstretch, so be sweet with your edges. So right knee is in line with the right toes. And then we're going to breathe in and then shimmy our way over to the left. So left knee bends, extend through the right leg. Nice, and then we'll walk over to the other side, the right side once again. Maybe here, if you're feeling up to it, you can take your hands into prayer. Be very mindful of your legs, keep it active. We don't ever want to just hang out because we'll overstretch. And then come through center, and then left knee bends. So my legs are turned on. And then come back through center, take your hands down, and then take all toes and fingers forward to the top of the mat. For this low lunge here with the left leg powered up, left hand plants down, right arm reaches up for a twist. Right heel drawing back in space, left toes forward. Nice, reach the right hand down. Take a step back to a down dog. And then from here, we'll bend the knees, look between the hands, and we'll come to Malasana. So you can step your left foot to the outside of the left hand, left toes out, and then right foot to the outside of the right hand, right toes out, heels in, and you can start to sit down in this squat here. Now you can always take a block to sit on if you have one. And then we'll use the triceps to push the inner thighs away. Bring your hands into prayer. Knees in line with the toes. Notice if you're caving inwards on the feet. Keep the feet nice and flat. And then find your root and then reach through the crown of the head. Nice tall spine. And then we'll release the hands down, lift the sit bones up, heel toe your feet to hip width distance apart. And then we're going to inhale into chair pose. So bend the knees as if you're going to sit back in a chair, arms lift, thumbs back, pinkies forward. Your tailbone is drawing forward and up. As your belly draws in, squeeze your glutes, feet are flat, hug your shin bones back in space. Biceps by the ears. Relax the shoulders. Starting to feel that heat here. And then we'll exhale, lower to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, plant your palms, take a step back to your high plank. Exhale, we can bend the elbows here, come down to your belly, point your toes. Inhale to cobra. Shoulders down and away. And then exhale back, downward dog. Take a few breaths here. Inhale your left leg up to three-legged dog. Toes stay down, hips level. Find the inner line of your legs. And then exhale, left foot through, low lunge. Right knee comes down. And then inhale, arms are going to lift up. Soften those shoulders. Left forearm to left thigh. Reach the right fingertips over to the left. Collarbones smiling. Breathe life into your psoas, your hip flexors. And then come to center, hands come down, half split. So you can shimmy the left foot forward as you draw your left toes towards you. And then slide the shoulders down, heart reaches forward. And if you'll notice a little tilt in the pelvis, as if you're reaching your sit bones through your pubic bones. So instead of curling forward, you find this action of reaching the sit bones back will increase the sensation in the back of the leg. So we don't need much, sometimes less is more. We want to keep that integrity here. Nice, and then let's bend through the left foot. Maybe take that foot in a bit closer again. And then we'll tuck the right toes under, power up the back leg, and then this time we'll walk our hands over to the right. Instead of the lunge, we're gonna come into a wide-legged forward fold. So toes slightly in, heels slightly out. Then hands down onto the ground, shoulder width distance apart, and then folding here. So imagine that you're gently ripping the mat apart here with the outer edges of your feet. So the legs are active. Then we'll take our left hand to the center and then inhale, reach your right arm up for a twist. If you'd like to take it deeper, you can take your left hand to the outside of the right calf or the right ankle. And then take your hands down, other side. So right hand either just comes to the center, left arm reaches up, or right hand to the outside of the left ankle or calf, and extend here. So keep the awareness still in the legs. And release. Take all of your hands and toes forward to the top of the mat. Plant your palms, step back to a high plank. And then we'll shimmy slightly forward. Exhale, bend at the elbows. Come down either halfway or to your belly. If you're coming halfway, follow me to up dog with your toes pointed, tops of the feet pressing down. And then exhale, belly button draws in and takes you back to the downward dog. Nice, take a few breaths here. You're welcome to take child's pose or down dog as your rest. And then let's meet back to down dog. Inhale your right leg up high, three-legged dog. And then start to stack open the hips, bend that top knee. Try to keep the shoulders level to the top of the mat. As you exhale, come through center, and then step your right foot through, but this time high lunge. So your left leg stays powered up. And when you feel steady, you can inhale, your arms will lift. With your thumbs back, pinkies forward. Try to even keep that left pinky toe on the ground here. If you feel compression in your low back, you can bend that left knee. Otherwise, keep it nice and strong and bright. So right heel's drawing back in space, left toes forward. You'll find the activation in your inner thighs. Bring your hands into prayer. Bring your torso slightly forward, breathe in. As you exhale, twist over to the right with your core. And then we'll take the left tricep to the outside of the right thigh. Push your palms into one another. Remember, the legs are nice and strong and active. And then reach through the left side body just as much as the right is lengthening. Reach through the top of the head. And then we'll release the left hand down, right arm's gonna reach up. We're gonna make our way into side planks. Come onto the outer edge of the left foot, take your right toes out to the right. Heel toe, you can stop halfway and stay right here. Or you can stack the feet, bring one in front of the other. Maybe you wanna take it even further and let your right leg hover. Sometimes our right hip likes to roll back in space in side plank. Try to keep the hips stacked, and then lift through the left side body here. Shaking is good. My whole left side of the body is engaged here as I find this lift. Beautiful. And then we'll exhale, take your right hand down, come to that plank for a moment, and then shift back to a down dog. And then we'll lift the right leg up high for a moment. And then exhale, your right foot's gonna come through to warrior one. So left heel drops, left toes fan out. You can either be heel to heel or on railroad tracks for more stability. Keep your right leg bent, arms are gonna lift up. So outer edge of the left foot is nice and grounded, back leg is engaged, right knee is bent, hips are aiming towards the front. And then we'll cactus the arms, open it up. Beautiful, and then we'll find eagle arms. So right arm's gonna swing on top of the left. You can either hold on to your shoulders, backs of the hands can touch, or for a full bind, palm to palm, lifting the elbows slightly, palms away from the face. And then lift from the upper body. Maybe start to bring a bit of a front extension. Don't forget about the awareness in your legs. And then we'll slowly release. Take your hands, interlace them behind you. Open up the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. On your exhale, right shoulder comes to the inside of the right leg in Humble Warrior. Releasing your neck. And sometimes our hips want to wing out to the right here. Try to keep everything in the midline. So draw your sacrum and root to the center. Slowly release. Take your hands to your hips. And then we're going to step onto our right foot. And we're going to come to a balance. So try not to let your left foot touch the ground as you come through. So bend your right knee and then come to a standing shape here with your left knee bent, left foot is flexed. Your left hips want to hike up, so just draw it down. And then find your Tadasana shape here. Root down through the legs. Engage the right leg, tone in the belly. Notice if you're leaning way back. Find something to focus on and then relax your shoulders here. Taking it further, we're going to extend the left leg, so reach through the left heel. Fire that left quad. We want to get stronger so when we do stretch and open, we don't overstretch and hurt ourselves. Beautiful. And then from here, we'll bend the left knee. We're going to gently come back to a high lunge. So nice and slowly, big step back. Arms are going to reach up for a moment and then open into Warrior Two. So now our hips are facing the left side of the mat. Outer edge of the left foot grounded. Back leg nice and engaged, bending that right knee. Then your torso is right over the hips, so we're not leaping into the future, but we're right here. Reach beyond your fingers with your eyes. Being nice and strong in your warrior, so keep the foundation of your legs and just flip your right palm and reverse your warrior. So left hand can come to your left thigh, or maybe you want to wrap the left hand behind the low back. Come into this side stretch. And then make your way through to extended side angle. Right forearm to right thigh, left arm towards the ceiling, or right hand to the mat. Maybe left fingertips reach towards the top of the mat, palm face down. And then same thing again here. Right glute is nice and active, hips coming towards the center. Beautiful. And then from here, we're just going to pivot forward, nice and mindfully, and we're going to step our left foot beside the right. Feet come together. Take an inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, we'll fold. And now we're going to come into chair pose with our feet together. Bend in the knees, sit back, weight in the heels. See if you can lift your toes and then drop them down. Take your hands into prayer. Breathe in to prepare. We're going to find a twist. Exhale, twist over to the right with your core. And then maybe hook your left tricep to the outside of the right thigh. Push your palms into one another. Squeeze the glutes. Your left knee's going to want to creep a little forward. Keep it in line with the right. Shoulders down and away. Find your breath. Nice, and then we'll exhale, release, forward fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift to cleanse. Exhale, plant your palms down. Take a step back to your high plank and flow here. So you can come down halfway to up dog or down to your belly to cobra. Push through the palms like suction cups. Heart forward and up. And then exhale, nice and controlled to back, downward dog. You can take child's pose here for the next 5 breaths or stay in your down dog. And then we'll meet in down dog once again. Coming into the second side, letting go of the first side. Inhale your left leg up high, and then stack open the hips. Bend that left knee, shoulders level towards the front of the mat. Nice big breath in into your hips. Exhale, come through center, and then step your left foot through to high lunge. Back leg is powered up. Find your stability here. Inhale, arms lift up. Left heel back, right toes forward. Inner thighs are engaged. See if you can get that right pinky toe on the mat. So you find this inner rotation in the thigh. Hands come into prayer. Shift your torso slightly forward. Inhale, create that space, get long. Then exhale, twist over to the left, but use the trunk and the core as you twist. And then hook your right tricep to the outside of the left thigh here. You're always welcome to bring your right knee down if you need. So reach through the crown of the head and that right side body. Back leg is nice and bright if it's engaged. Breathing here. And then we'll release the right hand down, reach the left arm up, preparing for side plank. So come onto the outer edge of your right foot, left toes. Come to the left, heel toe your left foot down halfway and stay here. Keep your hips lifted. And then, or take your side plank, stacking your feet. You can stagger the feet, let your left leg hover for more of a challenge. So my right side body is nice and on. I'm pushing the floor away from me. Shaking's good, getting stronger. And then we'll exhale, come to a high plank, and then back to down dog. Inhale your left leg up for a moment. Then exhale, warrior one. Left foot steps through, right heel down, right toes out. Back on the railroad tracks or align heel to heel, arms lift up. Left knee is bent, weight nice and even in that back foot, back leg engaged. We're going to cactus open the arms for goddess arms, open it up. And then extend. Left arm's gonna swing on top of the right. So either grabbing opposite shoulders, backs of the hands, or full bind, palms touch. Elbows can lift, palms away from the face. And then use the upper body to find your lift. Release, interlace the hands behind you, this time in that awkward, non-habitual way. Open up your chest, breathe in, squeeze the shoulders, exhale, left shoulder to the inside of the left thigh, release the head, humble warrior. Draw your hips towards the center, legs are still engaged. And then release with control. Come all the way up, take your hands to your hips. We're gonna find that standing balance shape. So left foot's gonna become the standing leg, and then we're gonna draw the right leg in front of us with a bend in the right knee. Right foot is flexed. Root down through the left foot, right hip comes down, tone in the belly, soften the shoulders, reach through the top of the head. And then bring your awareness to the heel of your right foot. Extend your right leg. You're gonna feel that right quad fire. Nice. And then nice and gracefully, take a nice big step back to your high lunge. Moving nice and slow. Soft landing, bring the arms up, breathe in. And then exhale, warrior two. Pivot the hips towards the right side of the mat. Bend in that left knee. See if you can see your left big toe. If you can't, turn on that left glute to find this external rotation. Engage that right leg. Torso right over the root. And extend the fingers Even engage the triceps. We're not forcing anything, so soften the jaw. We're strong but yet graceful, and then keep the foundation of the legs, reverse the warrior. Come through center, extended side angle, left forearm to left thigh, right arm towards the ceiling, or left hand down to the ground, and maybe right fingertips towards the front of the mat, palm down. Keep the opening in the chest, draw your sit bones towards the center. Start from the feet up, making sure everything is on and there's awareness throughout the whole body, even your fingertips. And then we'll pivot forward, so fingers and toes come forward. We're gonna step the right foot beside the left, feet together. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we'll fold. Here we go, chair pose. Nice big bend in the knees, Utkatasana, arms lift. Squeeze the glutes. And as if you're zipping up a pair of pants, your pubic bone comes forward, belly draws in. Hug the shin bones back. Take your hands into prayer. Breathe in, create space. Exhale, twist to the left from the core. And then we'll hook the right tricep to the outside of the left thigh. Right knee in line with the left. And then keep drawing that belly in as you find length in the spine. Push the palms together. And then we'll exhale and release. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, take a step back, come into your last flow here. And then either coming down halfway, push through the palms evenly, up dog or belly or cobra. And back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward to a high plank. Exhale your way all the way to your belly. We're going to come right into Locust Pose. Take your arms down by your side with your palms facing down, point your toes. From here, we're going to start to lift the forehead, lift the shoulders off the mat, engage your tricep, lift the palms. Head in line with the spine so our neck's not cranking way up. And then point your toes a lot, so maybe the tops of the feet lift, your shins, your knees, your quads, so your whole back body is on. Find this length. Stay with your breath. Arms are engaged. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, release. Take your left ear down to the mat. Let it go. We'll do one more exercise here for our back here. So you're going to bend your elbows and then hug your elbows close to the side of your body with your palms hovering off of the mat. And you can keep the legs down if you like, or if you're feeling strong today, you can lift the legs just like we did in Locust. So lift the forehead, chest, shoulders, palms, but your elbows are nice and close to the body. Squeeze the shoulders together. And then we're going to breathe in, reach and extend the arms up, palms face away. And then exhale as if you're swimming through, moving nice and consciously here. Bend the elbows, hug them in. Again, breathe in, extend the arms up in front of you, flip the palms away, thumbs down. Exhale, swim through, bend the elbows. Last one, breathe in, extend. Flip the palms, exhale, swim through, bend the elbows, and then let it go. Take your hands by your chest, and then just come up and back to a child's pose. So your choice to do wide-legged child's or closed-legged child's pose, whatever you feel you need right now. And then just breathe in the air into the back body, into the low back. Get nice and big. And then exhale, surrender. Awesome. So we're going to come on to tabletop. We're going to come into cow face pose, Gomukhasana. So this one is intense for the hips. If you have a block, you may want to use it. You may not, or like a bolster or a pillow or a cushion. And if you have issues with your knees, and this might not be working, you can come onto your back and do thread the needle. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross the right leg in front of the left. So your knees are aligned, and you're going to open up the feet away from each other. And then if you have the block or a pillow, you can take it in between the legs and then sit yourself down here. Now it's okay if your knees start to peel away from each other, that's fine. So you want to start to adjust and find a spot that's good for you. If this is too much on your knees, like I said, just go onto your back and do thread the needle figure 4. So crossing your right ankle over your left thing, thread your hands through. Now here you can just hold on to your feet. I like to do that when I feel I need a little bit more grounding, or hands onto the ground. And if you feel you don't need the block, or if you don't have one, you don't need it, you can just separate the legs a little more and make it a little bit more softer. Now, if you want to come in and invite the arms in, this is absolutely just an option. You can take your left arm up above, bend at the left elbow, and then take your right thumb, face it down, bend your right elbow, and then maybe you eventually reach for a clasp. Doesn't matter if it touches. Maybe you just hold on to a shirt, or you can also use a strap or a tie to hold on to. So you can bring your bind in if you'd like, or just stay grounded here, and we'll close the eyes and we'll just be here for a bit. And tune into your breath. And if you notice that you tend to transfer your tension to other areas of the body, like maybe your shoulders or your jaw, just become aware of it and see if you can just bring your awareness to the spaces where you are feeling it scream your name, and then exhale your way into it. So we'll move through it, not try to fight around it. And just take 3 more cycles of breath here. Beautiful. If you have your hands together, just release that. And then you can take the block out if you have it under you, and then we'll all take our right foot and then take it behind you. So you have the inside of your right thigh down, outside of your left thigh down. There's no right or wrong here. We're just gonna come into a nice stretch for the psoas, the hip flexors. So left hand comes down, and then reach your hips forward. You can extend your right arm up, no right or wrong. Just come into this nice opening stretch. Release. We'll climb our way back to tabletop and then prepare for the other side. So your left leg is going to come in front of the right. Align your knees, walk your feet apart from each other, and then maybe take your block or your prop, grab a seat. And it's all right if your knees open up a bit here, as long as you're not feeling sharp pain. If you're feeling sharp pain, ease off. Gone too far. So you want your body to naturally unfurl in this shape. So maybe after 5 breaths, you'll feel that maybe you can take your prop away and then sit yourself down. So if you're going to invite the arms in, your right arm's going to lift up this time. Bend the right elbow. Left thumb faces down. Reach for the clasp. If you're reaching for a clasp, try to keep the spine nice and tall so we're not compromising and rounding here. That may mean that you might not reach the clasp, and that's okay. Closing your eyes. Maybe one side feels totally different than the other side. No judgment. It's just a way to observe and see where one side might be a little more worked than the other side in life. Soften your shoulders, soften your jaw, even relax the energy behind your eyeballs. And take 3 more cycles of breath here. Nice, and then release the arms. Then maybe take your prop off, and then we'll swing the left leg behind us. So inner left thigh is down, outer right thigh is down, right hand down, push the hand into the floor, lift the hips up, find this big opening. Nice, and then release. We'll take our feet forward in front of us. We'll bend the knees, plant your feet on the ground, and then we'll draw the legs together actually. Ankles, shins, and knees. You can lean slightly back on the sit bones. Take your hands behind the kneecaps. Soften the shoulders down the back. Heart is going to reach forward and up. And then maybe come onto the toes. Zip the legs together. Now we're going to start to ignite the core. Maybe your toes hover. Keep that lift. You don't want to compromise the spine here. Maybe your shins come parallel to the ceiling. Feel your lower abs start to engage. So draw your awareness there and turn them on. Sometimes they're sleeping. And then maybe your hands lift off, palms open. So if you feel this a lot in your hip flexors, maybe just keep your hands on the backs of the knees here. Just take 3 more breaths. Last one. Nice. And then take your feet down, hip width distance apart. Take your hands behind you with your fingers facing towards your body. And then we'll lift into a reverse tabletop. So push your feet into the ground, lift your hips up, and then root your hands into the earth, including your thumbs and pointer fingers. So you can keep your chin tucked in, or if you'd like, you can keep your head in line with the spine as you open up and bare the throat. Feel this beautiful stretch in the inner lines of your arms. And then exhale, release. And then we'll draw the feet a little farther away. Keep the knees bent. Take your hands in front of you, thumbs facing up, palms toward each other. Now we're going to make sure there's enough room so when you lie back down there's space. Now imagine as if you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans. You're going to feel your pubic bone reach towards your belly button. And then we're going to slowly start to curl ourselves down to the mat. So really, really hug the low belly up and in towards you. And then see if you can bring each vertebra on the mat. So you're going to really engage the core. Lift, lift, lift. Find this roundness. Vertebra by vertebra, nice and slow. Maybe you're shaking, and then release. From here, we're going to come into shoulder stand. So if that's not for you today, you can just take a block or a cushion and then bring it under your sacrum and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. And then find this restorative waterfall, which is just as great. Otherwise, come with me into shoulder stand and just be mindful to not look from left and right. Just keep your gaze towards the ceiling. And then we'll lift the legs up, lift the hips up. Take your hands behind the low back. Just get used to being upside down here. And then maybe you'll bend the knees here for a moment just to shimmy your elbows in a little bit closer, making sure that you can still talk easily in this shape and breathe easily. So bring your weight into your elbows so the backs of your legs reach towards the top of your mat. Maybe you close your eyes. You can stay here, or with control, you can start to bring yourself into Plow Pose, keeping your low back supported. Maybe the balls of your feet or toes touch the ground behind you, maybe not. Every day is so different. If they do touch, then maybe you can release your hands and interlace them behind you and walk your shoulders in. Otherwise, keep your hands to your low back. Keep your legs engaged. And then see if you can still talk here. Let your breath travel through the throat and the upper spine. And if your hands are interlaced behind you, take your hands back to your low back. And then we'll slowly, with control, start to come out of this shape. And then we'll all meet in bridge pose. So if you're in that restorative waterfall, we'll bend the knees, plant the feet down with your heels close to your glutes. See if you can take your fingers and graze your heels. And then press your feet into the earth and lift your hips up. Awareness in the legs, so our knees aren't opening up to the sides. You'll feel this different sensation in the throat here. You can interlace the hands if you'd like. Walk the shoulders in a little closer together. Push the feet into the mat. And then release the hands and shoulders. Slowly roll yourself down. Then for our third inversion, you can take restorative waterfall like you did in the first one. If you didn't do shoulder stand, you can do bridge again, what we just did, or I'll guide you into fish. So you decide. If you feel pain, you back off. So into fish, I like to lift my hips up, hook my thumbs together, palms towards the mat. And then I'll walk my elbows and shoulders in as close as I can together. And then bring my sit bones onto the backs of my hands and extend my legs out with my feet flexed. So awareness in the legs. Now from here, I'm going to shift my weight towards my feet onto my elbows and forearms. And then I'll reach the crown of my head towards the mat. Now 95% of my weight is on my elbows and forearms. Now you'll come into your breath here, opening up the throat and the heart. Close your eyes so you're not letting your eyelids just drop to the floor. And then with so much care and control, wherever you are, you can release, you can bend your knees, and then take your knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice hug here. You can rock or be still. And then let's come into a happy baby. So elbows towards the insides of the legs, flex the feet. Either grab onto your ankles or maybe outer edges of the feet, or maybe peace fingers and thumb to your big toe. Ankles in line with your knees. Root your tailbone down, relax the shoulders. Once again, be still, or maybe you feel like rocking from side to side today. Release. And take any variation of twist that you want to take. I'm going to go into a deeper one, so I'll guide you through that. But if you want to do a simple one like we did in the beginning of class, you can do that. Arms into a T, palms up. Cross your right leg over your left. Take your hips over to the right, and then knees over to the left. Your head can just stay in the center, or maybe if it feels good, look over to the right, closing your eyes. And let your right shoulder get nice and heavy. Let your legs get heavy. And then if you're in this deep twist, take your palms, slip them down to the ground, then use your core and your hands to lift your legs back up to center so we don't put too much pressure on our spine. Uncross the legs, left leg over the right, hips over to the left, and then legs fall to the right. Flip your palms back open for this twist. Maybe you look to the left. Then come out of your twist with care and control. Uncross the legs. You can draw your knees in towards you. Just give yourself a hug. This is our final little shape before Shavasana. You can take your ponytails out if you have one. Just get nice and comfortable. Get whatever you need. If you want a blanket to cover yourself up, you can do that. And then when you're ready, you can extend your legs out long and come into your final resting shape. So get all your wiggles and shimmies out. Nice opening in the chest. And because there's nothing left for you to do but to receive your practice. So your whole body is resting in the ground. Just give your weight over to the support of the earth beneath you. Maybe even imagining your muscles melting off of the bones. And this time is here for you to nourish yourself at a very deep level. Letting any control of your breath go. And then, of course, allow the energy here within you to organize itself into balance and harmony and coherence as you rest in this ultimate state of receivership. And the more you can surrender, the more you receive. And noticing what it feels like to be at home in the center of your multi-dimensional being. And know that you always, always have access to this. And we'll slowly start to deepen the breath. Let the breath stretch you from the inside out as you breathe life back into your body. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Stirring the body into wakefulness. Bring the arms up overhead for a nice big stretch. Draw your knees in towards you. Give yourself a good hug. Then roll off to one side, any side you like. Then use that bottom arm, extend it long, and then rest your ear on the bicep. Notice what this fetal shape feels like to you. And I always like to invite in the energy of gratitude for our bodies, for allowing us to have this physical practice, and for carrying us through life unconditionally every day. And then from here we can keep the eyes closed. Just use the top hand to lift you up to a seated position. You can come in either cross-legged or on your knees, whichever one you prefer. And then we'll meet with our palms touching in heart center. Thumbs can touch your sternum, slight bow of the chin. Lift from the upper and mid back and soften the shoulders. Then take these next few moments here in stillness and silence, enjoying yourself and your breath. Notice what you've cultivated inside, this inner stillness. As we opened up the body, we've purified and detoxified, opening up the channels so we can start to receive. And I invite you to take this energy within you, radiate it outwards, and spread it to all those around you as your yoga practice continues off of your mat and into each and every moment of your day. And thank you so much for your trust. From my heart to yours, namaste.